Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we're going to cover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Joe Nicassio, a business mentor and coach and employee escape plan, renowned for helping over 3,000 people escape the 9-to-5 grind by launching and scaling businesses in 90 days or less. With 27 plus years as an entrepreneur maker, marketing expert, and author, he transforms employees into entrepreneurs and good businesses into great ones through proven systems for rapid results, client acquisition, and problem solving that turned million-dollar companies into multi-million-dollar successes. Joe, a very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to this.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great episode. Clearly, we got a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with a little bit of your background, though. So before becoming a business mentor, a coach helping people escape the rat race, what were you doing previously? And what was really your inspiration for getting into the space?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm 64 years old. So I've been around. Started my first business in like 1980. I have an electrical engineering background. I started a TV and stereo repair business in the 80s. I also, I have this electrical engineering background. I used to diagnose and troubleshoot high-tech electronics. I've had my own little businesses. I've also worked in corporate America. I used to work for Eastman Kodak and Sanyo Electric in the electrical engineering space. And over the years, I made over $1 million in technology in the late 80s. And I also had a pretty big business failure, and it was pretty painful. And in addition to the mental health help that I needed, and if you need mental health help, please seek it out because it is available. But I also ended up with a mentor, a guy named Jay Abraham, he's like the $30 billion man. He's helped a lot of people make a lot of money. He's Montessori for business adults. And I went to an event. It was $5,000 per person, and I put $500 on a credit card and kind of prayed about it. And in that process, I had this life-changing experience. There were 500 people in a room that paid $5,000 each to be there. So the quality of people was amazing. And I was in a hot seat, and it was really like it was learning how much I didn't know about the marketing and the sales side of business. So after that event, about a month later, Jay's office called me and they go, "Would you like to come to the next event?" I said, "I'd love to. However, I'm still trying to pay for the first event." And they said, "We know. Can you barter?" And I like, "Barter? What could I do?" And they said, "We need transcription." And so they sent me boxes and boxes of audio cassette recordings of decades of Jay Abraham marketing think tanks. And they were sorted by 30 topics in these broad categories of getting more customers to pay you more money more often. And there was things like referral system, lead generation stuff. There was conversion stuff. There was retention, how to retain clients, etc. And there were 30 different topics that I transcribed on. I listened to them with a yellow pad and word for word. And I typed all this stuff and summarized them. And all of my transcriptions ended up going in the J. Abraham Marketing Encyclopedia. And so I was gaining this encyclopedic knowledge of marketing, which was completely new to me, but I was soaking it up because of my big giant failure I had. I never wanted to fail again, so I was very motivated to learn this stuff. And in the process, I gained this great knowledge. And then I ended up going to J. Abraham events as staff and as a participant. I went to 12 events that were all either $5, 10, or $15,000 type events. I also worked in Jay's office. I wrote copy for Jay and Dan Kennedy and Gary Halbert, and just it was really opened up a lot of doors and a lot of relationships. And I was at a trade show. So how did I make the transition? I was at a trade show with a checklist of the top 10 marketing mistakes almost every business makes. And it was one of the big computer shows. Maybe it was Comdex in Vegas. Lots of people there, small, medium, large, super large companies. And as I was going booth to booth, every single company was making at least one or more of the marketing mistakes. And I had this light bulb moment. So everybody's making mistakes. And if they would just stop making those mistakes and fix them, they would be marketing multipliers. And I had this epiphany aha moment that I am no longer a technology guy. I'm now going to be a full-time business marketing strategist, business strategist. So that's a little bit of the roots of what got things started. And I've been doing it since before 1999, and I've coached over 4,000 people in over 400 industries since then.
Wow, not bad at all. Absolutely. So that's when the business mentoring started. I'd love to ask about employee escape plan. When did that come to be?
Couple of years later, so here I am. I'm coaching people that are already in business, and I still do this. Working people, a lot of people are making 1 to 2, 3 to 5 to 700,000 a year, and they want to go to that 1 or 3 or $5 million range. So that's half the people I currently work with, and all the people I was working with back then. And I kept running into people, Zach. I kept running into people that said, "I'm not making that kind of money, and I don't have my own business. I have this job, and I hate it, and I wish somebody would teach me how to start my own business so I never have to go back to this soul-sucking job." So that was another aha epiphany. And so I realized every day millions of people are driving reluctantly to a job they don't want to go to. They're praying, "Dear God, please send me a mentor to show me how to start my own business the right way so I never have to do this soul-sucking job ever again." And I am Joe Nicassio, and I'm the answer to that prayer. And so employee escape plan is about helping you do what you love for yourself and others, share the love through your marketing and your service so you can receive the love in the form of appointments and sales and cash and repeat business and referral business and testimonials and all the good stuff that comes when you sell something and you keep your promises to your customers.
Yeah. And most importantly, not having to go back to that soul-sucking job. I
Yeah.
love it.
And there is a key piece here of why do people fail in business? I had to redesign. When people say, "How do you start a business?" And you write a business plan. But if you build a business the way most people build business plans, you will fail because most people write a business plan to get an investor. I don't teach that. I help you write a business plan so you can roll up your sleeves and go get customers and start making money. It's like, "Oh, I'm going to get this business plan and I'm going to get these investors. And maybe if I get an investor, I can start my business." No. Okay. You don't need a business plan. You need customers. A business plan might make you money in a year or 2 years or 3 years. I'm like, how can we get Zach making money by next Thursday?
Nice. Nice. I love it. I'd love to dive into that if that's okay.
Sure, let's
Right?
do
People
it.
going from the corporate grind to their own job. Like you said, you want them to get clients within a week, right?
Well, usually it takes 30, 60 days to kind of get their foundation together because
Okay.
we don't want to slap something together. We want to make sure it's built with a solid blueprint and a solid foundation.
Yeah, makes sense, but still very, very quick process. A lot of people, you can go online today. There's a lot of startups for people to do, right? Pressure washing comes to mind. Any
Yeah.
type of quick service business like that. And you work with a lot of people, so obviously it's not the same for everyone. But could you list some pretty common businesses that a lot of people that you work with are starting?
Sure. And I would say that's the first mistake is let's look at a list of businesses and choose a business. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Or we could say, what are your skills? What are your talents? What are your abilities? What are your passions? And how can we, instead of choosing a business, how about creating a business based on what you're blessed with? And how can we connect it to people in the marketplace that people will pay for? So
Mm,
step one, the biggest reason people fail in business is they choose the wrong business. I've got people that have done bookkeeping. I've worked with somebody that invented a portable urinal system for truck drivers. I've got somebody, one of my current clients, she does peaceful custody agreements. So instead of going through divorce and fighting and spending a lot of money, would you rather put your children through college or would you rather put your lawyer's children through college? Peaceful custody agreements is about putting together something, getting everybody on the page before you present it to a judge. And if you present it to a judge, everybody signs off on it. So she's a peaceful custody mediator. Who else am I working with? I'm working with a guy who does ghostwriting and he helps people put together a book that reveals your soul and it becomes a beacon for your genius. So not only are you writing an interesting book, but it's also legacy and it's something that becomes a client magnet. Everybody's doing
okay.
something different. The most important thing is what's the right business for you? Because not everybody should be a coach, not everybody should be in medicine, not everybody should be in real estate. We got to figure out what's in alignment with you. Because if your previous job you were like reluctant, you didn't want to go to work. I've heard stories about people crying in the shower because they didn't want to go into their job. Okay, if we're going to leave that, we want to make something that you do what you love, something that you want to bounce out of bed and you're excited about. Because if you don't like what you do, if you make a bunch of money and you hate what you do, you're going to burn out. So
Yeah.
business choice, business creation is really important. I've got a guy with a pressure washing company down in Savannah, Georgia. And he was knocking on doors. He was knocking on 100 doors and getting no sales. And I changed the script. Now he's getting 9 out of 10 people he talks to become paying clients. And I took him, he was delivering blood between midnight and 8 in the morning with a business that wasn't failing. He was able to make enough money to quit that job. He's making 6 figures plus now because we fixed the problem.
Yeah,
And I would
clearly.
say one of the things about me is going back into my background, I used to troubleshoot high-tech electronics. I was a master troubleshooter, problem solver. Today, I troubleshoot businesses, business owners, and business problems. I like to think of myself as the world's best business problem solver.
Hey, you're painting a good case for yourself right now so far. I
Not,
love
it
it.
ain't bragging if it's true, and I'm not bragging, I'm applying for a job.
There you go. There you go. A big thing from when someone's going from the corporate job to their own job, right? A big part of it is
Business.
obviously, hey, when is the right time to cut ties,
I would
right?
say if you have, look, if the job is truly stealing your soul, maybe, who wants to feel like that every day? But I still have compassion that you need to put bread on the table. You got to be a provider for yourself and the people you love. If you're feeling like committing suicide, maybe you should quit the job right away because that's no place for anybody's soul to be. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, they have a job and it's making them money, but the best time to start working on it is now. And you can start developing your business while you still have a job. There's a saying that if you want to escape the 9 to 5, you're going to do that from 5 to 9. Whether it's 5 to 9 in the morning before you go into work or 5 to 9 at night after you get off of work. And so you do need an extra fire in your belly to do the extra work to get things off the ground. But let's choose your business. Let's make sure you have a good offer and branding. Let's make sure you have good storytelling and you have some kind of way to promote and generate leads. And while you have that job, let's get your proof of concept. Let's make sure your messaging is landing and you're generating leads and you're generating clients. And when you have confidence that you can generate leads every day and clients every week, especially if you were to go into it full time and your cash register is ringing a little bit, you've got proof of concept. Once you feel confident enough that if I did put full time into this business, it would make me more money, it would give me more time, and it would give me more
Mm.
freedom. I think there's 3 reasons to be in business: money, meaning, and freedom. So if you can prove your concept while you still have a job and get enough confidence that, hey, this is working, then you go ahead and give your notice. And that's one of the greatest phone calls I ever get. Hey, Joe, I'm making enough money in the business you helped me start. I was able to quit my 3 jobs. And to me, that puts a nice feeling in my heart because I know I'm making a difference.
Good. Proof of concept. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Joe, you told a story. You've been learning about marketing for a long time now. So, I'm curious about how you're going about marketing today. How are these individuals, these business owners, currently finding Joe to work with you?
Yeah, that's interesting. How are they finding me? And then what marketing am I recommending to them? It's 2 questions. No, I think anything to get the word out. I think number one is you've got to promote. So you can promote online. I put things on social media. That certainly works. You want to you want promoting, getting on stage certainly works. Getting media, getting featured in an article certainly works. There's all kinds of ways to do it. You need to just find one that works. You don't need to be on 20 social media platforms. You need one promotional method that generates leads every day.
Mm.
Okay. I get referrals. I've been doing this for 27 years now. So I get referrals. Client results is the new marketing. And one of the things is just developing a reputation as somebody who I hired Zach. Zach delivered on his promises. Zach's going to say nice things about me. So being somebody of integrity that keeps your promise is one of the greatest marketing tools you can have. Is just deliver
Mm.
the goodies.
Deliver
Deliver
the
the
goodies.
goodies.
Put that on a t-shirt. Love that. That's
I write articles. I do a lot of the stuff,
okay.
but I think for each person, you got to find the formula that works for you. For some people, it's doing video. And something I've been doing more lately is I've been doing content on social media for a long time, and I was doing free content. And one of the things I learned the hard way is that Facebook is not interested in making Joe or Zach wealthy or anyone else. They are interested in making Meta wealthy. Okay. And so I've learned a lot of people say, should I do organic or should I do paid? Organic, they won't push you out, and paid can get very expensive if you do it the wrong way. But one
Mm,
of the things I've learned is you can promote your business using micro budgets. Okay. So instead of spending one or three or $5,000 a month, you can spend $1 a day or $3 a day or $5 a day on Facebook ads or on TikTok. When I post organically on TikTok, most of my people get my videos get between 100 and 500 views organically. I've got one video that's posted now organically that's got almost 60,000 views. That's an exception, not the rule. But I started putting a little bit of money. Let me put $30 behind this video. All of a sudden, I got 15,000 views on the video that previously only got 500 views.
mm.
And so micro budget promotions to get the key is to how can we get more eyeballs on my stuff? Because if people are seeing my stuff and loving my stuff, some of them will raise their hand and say, I'm interested in working with you.
So you can get some decent results from such low ad spend. It doesn't need to
Absolutely.
be in the thousands.
Yeah, you do not have to spend thousands.
Wow. Even on TikTok.
TikTok, and when you do your videos, you can always put a QR code in the back, scan this QR code, and that can take people to your calendar.
What are your personal thoughts on TikTok in
I
a
think it's
business
great.
sense?
I think it's great. There was this thing about China's collecting data. Hey, guess what? Everybody's collecting data. Facebook's collecting data. Everybody's collecting data. So they're not doing anything different.
True.
TikTok is great. A lot of people are building businesses on TikTok alone. TikTok is a great platform that really encourages people to make videos and share videos, and
Mm.
you can get a lot of traffic and eyeballs on TikTok if your crowd is there. And your crowd probably is there because they attract a wide, diverse kind of number of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of eyes on TikTok. That makes me want to ask, what is your favorite social media platform and why?
Facebook is my default. I know that 3 billion people on Facebook. Maybe it's a little bit out of habit, but I've learned to do some things on Facebook. You can find people hanging out in groups. I belong to a group called the Coaching Jungle, and I paid $1,000 to be a VIP where I have permission to promote every week. And there's 30,000 people in there, and most of them are potential clients for me. I also got endorsed to another group, which is a private injury doctors group. They do private personal injury and sports medicine kind of things. And
Hmm.
I've been endorsed in that group, and there's 4,100 doctors that the host of the group has endorsed me, saying Joe can really help you grow your practice. And so it really isn't about the social media platform. When you're starting a business, who are your ideal customers? Number one, what problem do you solve for them? Then the next question is, where are they hanging out? And how can I get in front of them? For example, say you wanted to target electrical engineers. That's my background. One way to do that is you could go onto LinkedIn and pay for LinkedIn Navigator, and you can very easily pull up people by electrical engineer, and you could send them a message. But I'll tell you what, would I rather, if that was your crowd, would you rather do that, message them personally, or would you rather have a booth at the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers convention where there's 25,000 electrical engineers and you can connect with them face to face, belly to belly, and shake their hand and have real conversations with them? I would rather have that chance. Technology, we're so in love with technology, but I've also discovered that the more technology I put between me and the human being prospect, the less we connect. And so I want to remove the technology. The more I can have real one-on-one conversations with real human beings, that's when I'm the most powerful. So I'm in favor of removing the technology so we could have more human connection.
I've been hearing that a lot recently. 2026, it seems a return of a lot more in-person events, a lot of networking events, and I see a shift happening. I really
Yeah.
do. And it sounds like you're hearing seeing the same.
Yeah, it's all based on what works. Would you rather have a strong social media following, or would you rather have an endorsement from Anthony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey? If Oprah Winfrey says Zach's book is the best, it's an instant bestseller. And you can't do that on social media the same way you can from an endorsement from somebody who has a goodwill with their crowd, their audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, it's been 27 years you've been in this business now. I'm curious about the future a little bit. What does the future look like for Joe? What are maybe some goals you set for yourself in the business, let's say for this year?
My capabilities in terms of my expertise are huge, and yet my impact is tiny compared to where it could be. I want to impact more people. I want to help more people start businesses. And for those people that are already in business, I want to help more people grow. It's very fulfilling. It's like I can look at any business and I can start seeing things that inhibit the business. It's like I see if I met 100 people, I might feel like I could help 95 of them or 90 out of 100, 90 out of 100. And yet getting those people to raise their hand, I might be able to get two or three or four or five of them to actually show some real interest. So I see all kinds of people with broken marketing. I see all kinds of people with broken messaging. I see all kinds of people with a broken sales process. I see all kinds of people in a business that isn't even aligned with their soul. And so if we can align your business and make your messaging better and your marketing better and your sales monetization better, I just love helping people. I love it. It's fulfilling. I hate seeing people struggle and fail. And that's why I created the work that I do. And I just want to impact more lives. I love this work. I'm never going to do anything else. I will do this work until I can't do it anymore. And it's very fulfilling. I get that call, hey Joe, I just made my first sale in the business you helped me start. Or hey Joe, I'm making enough money in the business you helped me start. I was able to quit my job and go full time now. When I lay my head on my pillow at night, I sleep really good because I know I'm changing and improving lives.
Yeah, it's about the impact, and Joe's got more impact to make. I love it. You're not slowing down.
I love this work. I want to help more people.
Perfect. Perfect. Joe, we talked about social media. Where is the best place for listeners to find you, connect with you online?
I would say the best place is go to joenicassio.com and grab a spot on my calendar. You can also go to employeeescapeplan.com. I have a bunch of free resources. If you reach out and say, let me share some of your free resources, I will pile them on and give you lots of resources to get you going on your own. And if somebody's really serious about working with me, go to employeeescapeplan.com and grab a spot on my calendar and
Yeah.
let's talk about if or how I can help you.
Yeah. JoeNicassio.com. Get on his calendar. You heard the man. I love it. Joe, pleasure having you on. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for thanking me. I appreciate being appreciated.
The show could not have ended any other way. That fits. I love it. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Joe on both of his websites, all of his social media. All those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.